Barrett, Sallee, Demetri, Ravanos will have the final summer edition of Molly's Movie Minute, a movie in which our listeners has chosen for her to watch, and that was Old School. So we'll get her thoughts on that 12:30. But we are anticipating our Conrad, the S being released. Over 1,200 media members were credentialed in Atlanta, and we were given a ballot. We voted on the teams 1 through 16, who's going to win the conference championship, and also first team all SEC. So we are waiting for that to hit the email probably in the next hour.
Yeah, and if you are, if you follow a lot of different SEC media members on social media, you may have found some, I'll be honest, there were a couple that surprised me seeing, wow, they voted this team that high. Or, for example, I saw where Billy Lucci had predicted that Alabama was going to win the SEC. And that one kind of surprised me a little bit. So it'll be very interesting to see, based on the conversations we had, some teams that weren't seemingly getting a lot of respect or having high expectations from the media, and some other teams where you're like, wow, I got a kind of general sense that a lot of people were maybe a little more optimistic about the Oklahomas of the world than I was expecting going into it. So it's going to be very fascinating to see not only that, but also some of the preseason all SEC team members. Is it going to be Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning for quarterback, maybe somebody else? So a lot of interesting results that we'll find out later today.
Well, I heard this morning on the Damian Mitchell show with special guest Conrad Van Order, I heard you guys list your 16. I have not publicly. I just posted it on my Twitter and Instagram just a couple minutes ago, the way I voted. Landrum and Molly, you guys have not publicly displayed who you voted for, and I understand that Molly's going to be releasing that on her social media three-man front accounts here momentarily. All of our votes at who is going to win the SEC. And I understand that 3 of the 4 of us picked the same school to be the SEC champion, but we had one outlier of the group.
Wonder who it was.
Apparently the one that is snickering right now behind her microphone.
Snickerdoodle.
What's funny is I think this happened last year too.
Did you get it right and the rest of us got it wrong?
No, I just remember there was one school I just had very different than everybody else, and we had the same conversation.
You took
But
Ole Miss?
No, we all had Georgia, because I have last year's. We all had Georgia winning the SEC, and then we either had like Georgia and Alabama or Georgia. You had Georgia Ole Miss, I'm pretty sure.
Of course it
Yeah,
did.
that's probably right. Okay.
Well, other people had Ole Miss too, Pat, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, I really didn't feel bad, but
No, you should have.
No.
But I don't want you to.
It was no big deal. So myself, Conrad, and Landrum, we predict the Alabama Crimson Tide will regain the throne and the crown of the Southeastern Conference by winning the championship. I had them beating Texas. Who did you have them beating?
I had them beating Texas as well.
Okay. How about you, Conrad?
I had in an upset them beating Texas.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. So, Molly, tell the world who you've got winning the Southeastern Conference championship and who did they beat?
As much as it pains me, I have Texas.
Get out of here.
Who did they beat?
At least I'm different.
Who did they beat?
Georgia.
Oh, you're different.
Okay, so you didn't even have Molly didn't even have Alabama making it to Atlanta.
They're number 3 in my heart.
Well, we do get accused of being very Bammerish. So Molly kind of offsets a little bit.
See, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you.
She's the only one that's unbiased, apparently.
So you went Texas.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the next question around the room. Where did you have Auburn? I had Auburn at number 8 in the SEC.
That is also where I had them.
I had Auburn at number 7.
At number 7. How about you, Molly?
I have them at number 8.
Okay. Very consistent. So we will be tweeting out so you can look at it and laugh and mock us and text us and tell us how stupid we are or how brilliant we are in regards to how we rank these.
I will say, because I have everyone's graphic in front of me right now, we all, in terms of, I guess, the 4 tiers of this top of the 16 teams, we all pretty much have the same teams, just
in different orders.
Like our top row for everybody is a combination of Alabama, Georgia, Texas, and LSU.
Yeah, and I think that that's the way the official voting will go.
Yeah.
How about the next tier? Obviously, we all had Auburn in that next tier.
See, Pat's the outlier in this one. So Landrum, Conrad, and we all had some combo of Ole Miss, South Carolina, Florida, and Auburn. Pat, though, doesn't have Florida. He has A&M instead.
Interesting, but I can see that too.
Then the next tier, I have got Oklahoma, Tennessee, Florida, and Mizzou.
Okay.
That's my
So
next
you
tier.
got,
just have
Mizzou down the
A&M.
list. Yeah. I think I had Mizzou at 12.
And I would assume the final tier, we all got it pretty much the same.
Did we all have Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Kentucky, and then Mississippi State as
That's the way I had mine.
and the
I don't
exact
know if
order?
I think I might have
You have-
Arkansas higher than Vanderbilt.
Landrum, yours is Arkansas, Vandy, Mississippi State, Kentucky.
Oh, you went Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just ready to see Stoops gone.
Well,
You hate Mark Stoops.
Mississippi State's defense can't be any worse than it was last year. And offensively,
That's true.
yeah, they showed some spark. They were competitive in games at least.
Yeah.
So if they finish 2-6 in conference play, I could see Kentucky potentially going winless in the SEC.
I was having this conversation
They
with
were 4-8 last year, and look at what they lost. I'm Barrett.
Zlata,
Well, and he's
plus 30 pounds.
Yeah, well, maybe that.
Hey, he's not going to get hurt.
And they have an offensive coordinator coming back for a second season.
I was talking to Mike Griffith about Georgia. Me and him were just talking about rental property on the Gulf of America, and we happened to accidentally start talking about football. And he was talking to me about how the Georgia-Mississippi State game was one that that some people around Georgia was saying, I know that sounds like that's going to be an easy cakewalk, but going to Starkville on November 8th.
Is it a sandwich game?
Let me see if I can pull up the schedule. But it was definitely one that he said that could be one that would be a little bit more difficult because you never know at that time of the year.
You got Florida the week before,
Yeah.
and then you got Texas out.
He was just pointing out to me, and I do not know rhyme and verse on the schedule for Georgia. So
Yeah, circled that one November 8th.
Guess if you're looking for a trap game, that would be it.
That is the ultimate definition of a trap game for Georgia.
And I mean, if we remember again, I know they're probably not going to state, but remember what happened in that Kentucky game last year, and you have Kentucky sandwiched right in between Alabama and Auburn this year as well. So,
this is the first time I've really dove into Ole Miss's schedule, and I know it was one of the easier schedules last year, but at Georgia, at Oklahoma, South Carolina, that stretch.
yeah, everyone will be dusting off the old helmet schedule because it is now here.
Yeah, it's here now.
And so we all know the Alabama-Auburn schedules pretty well by heart. but
Right.
It's just now looking at everybody else's and say, oh, that's going to be a problem.
It's like when you make all of your picks, and you're like, well, or you start talking about teams and comparing and contrasting, and I could see 9-3. Well, I could see 9-3. Everybody's not going 9-3. But that's the fun of the preseason and leading up to the opening kickoff.
So I did
We're all right.
I did a radio show in North Carolina earlier this morning, and they had asked me what was the biggest takeaway for me in SEC football media days. And I told them that I just cannot remember a time where it is as wide open as it is this year. Because when we're sitting there and you're doing your ballot and you're looking at who could potentially win it, it is going to come down just like it did last year. In my opinion, a lot of tiebreakers.
Mhm.
I mean, it could be a situation where Auburn could finish third and Auburn can finish eighth. Just like Alabama could be in the upper tier, and then they could find themselves
Well,
just like they did last year.
when I started ranking my teams, that's what I started thinking about is common opponents and head-to-heads
Yeah.
and who has who on their schedule. And that benefited some teams. It hurt some teams. But, yeah, definitely a tiebreaker.
But that was my takeaway, is that you could make a case for about, in my opinion, 4 or 5 teams to win the SEC. And it's just going to be how it breaks and where you win and who you lose to.
Well, remember last year, right, with, 3 weeks left in the season, it looked pretty clear that Texas A&M was going to participate in the SEC championship
Sure
game.
did.
And then the wheels fell off, and we ended up with Georgia and Texas. So, because, I think if you forgot, Georgia, it's kind of a surprise that they ended up in the SEC championship, and then they ended up winning the whole thing. So, you never know.
Interesting, yesterday afternoon, as I told you on this program that Greg Sankey was going to be on the Paul Feinbaum show, which he was. He did 2 segment interviews with Paul. He talked about the ongoing legislation in Washington, D.C. on what's going to happen with the College Sports Commission and the NCAA. He also had this to say about this general feeling around the media that there is a problem, a chasm, a canyon between the SEC and the Big Ten. Take a listen to what Commissioner Greg Sankey told Paul Feinbaum yesterday afternoon.
So a couple things. One is we've got an 8 or 9 decision. We really have a 26 decision, and then should it be 8 or 9? And we can decide that sooner rather than later. I think the increasing number of games will linger. I was told that since the Clinton administration, this has been talked about, so it's not just me. I think we're close to making a decision. Now, that puts us in the CFP conversation. A lot of things said. So let me say clearly on the airwaves, there is no rift between the SEC and Big Ten commissioners. We have different views. That's okay. We talked this morning. We talked about our different views. Disagreement's fine. There's going to be a lot of times when we agree. There's going to be times when we agree on most things. We have to work through them. And then times we're going to have different perspectives. That's okay.
Because the media has tried to something else.
No, I talked to Tony 4 times last week. We were talking about 3 or 4 issues today. He'll state his perspective, I'm sure, next week. It may be different than ours. That's okay, America. You want leaders who have different perspectives, who can call each other, work together. This is my message to the United States of America.
All right.
All I heard was Big Ten's weak and Petitti's.
Is that what you read between the lines?
Petitti's my B.
I just like how he ended it. And this is my message to America. All right. Woohoo. Okay.
I don't mean to sound ornery here, but I will.
Yeah.
If you have a conversation with somebody 4 times in a week, why are we still debating on what to do?
Yeah.
Like, what are you discussing at length 4 times a week?
So are you still holding fast on the 4 automatic qualifiers? Yeah, I'm still there. Well,
okay.
How are the wife and kids?
Yeah.
Did you play golf this week? What you doing this weekend?
So Tony Petitti will be behind the microphone on Tuesday in Las Vegas. That is when the Big Ten Media Days will begin in the Big Ten city of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Woo!
On the same day, Jim Phillips will be behind the microphone in Charlotte, North Carolina, because ACC Media Days begin on Tuesday. So the Big Ten and the ACC will be going on simultaneously, one on the Eastern time zone, the other in the Mountain time zone. And so we will, figure out where Jim Phillips is, which will be a carbon copy of Brett Yormark. And then we'll have Tony Petitti continuing to talk about automatic qualifiers.
Can you imagine our crowd that we just hung out with in Atlanta and in Vegas?
No, just like I cannot, just like the people that we saw in Atlanta, I cannot imagine them in New Orleans.
No.
That was one of the conversations being, bannered back and forth that ultimately SEC Media Days may end up one day in New Orleans, covering a bunch of Sugar Bowls and national championships in New Orleans with national media. And then having the Ty Richardsons of the world, and I love you, Ty, but having SEC Mike and cousin Shane in New Orleans, that's dangerous.
Those are 2 cities, New Orleans and Las Vegas, where I think it would be easy for some of those folks, especially the maybe the younger generation, to forget why they were there.
Yes, very much so.
Like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm supposed to go there today.
I mean, see, Conrad is getting to the point now in his age how he punted the whole karaoke because he was tired.
Yeah.
He was exhausted.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a long week. And then you're talking about oh, well, you're going to have to go and get an Uber to go here, and then we're going to go here. But if this place doesn't work out, then we have a second option. We're going to have to Uber there, and you're going to have to Uber back home. Like, you know what? I'm just going to hang out at home and go to sleep.
I had a pretty good idea that Conrad is going to be a great teammate. But I didn't know, he gets away from the house, gets away from Paige. Maybe he starts feeling, some of those.
A little frisky.
Yeah, but nope. No, I am proud to say that he is progressively aging, which is great. He is an old soul already, which is wonderful for somebody like me because I'm like 80.
I was about to say, after the first night of going out and getting to watch the movie premiere, which was excellent, and getting some free drinks and things, and then waking up the next day and being like, I don't think I want to do this every day like I have in the past.
Yeah.
Don't think I want to do this every day.
Welcome to adulthood, officially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, as we know, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at train.com.
We are anxiously awaiting how the rest of the SEC media, how they voted, as we will have a release, hopefully by the top of the hour, of where everyone else across the conference landscape they believe will win the Southeastern Conference and where your favorite team will end up. We'll get into that and Wimp Sanderson at the bottom of the hour. Barrett, Sallee next hour. All that straight ahead on this Friday edition of Three Man Front. Got to be careful if you hang out at a Coldplay concert. I'm just saying. Are they coming to the new amphitheater here in Birmingham?
I hope so. I
would love to see Coldplay.
they are my favorite band of all time.
Just make sure Paige is with you.
Molly, do you want to go together?
I'll go.
Just trying to watch out for everybody.
Whew, someone's net worth is about to get cut in half.
If you follow Coldplay on social media, they had some interesting tweets yesterday.
They did.
I love it.
Just saying. But yeah. Gotta be careful, folks.
All you got to do is they acted casual. No one would have ever known.
She was the chief human resources officer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were practicing the trust fall. You know that they do with team building.
Perhaps they were filming something for their HR.
Yeah, like this is inappropriate. Don't do this.
Do not
That's
do
what
this.
I would. Oh, that's a great angle.
Do not do this.
Well, the great part too is if you watch the video, there's a third person next to them.
That's a member of their executive team.
And you can just see the look on their faces. Oh my God, I was keeping this secret and now everybody else knows. You could just tell the horror that they're like, thank God that's not me, but this is really bad right
Not
now.
saying it's right, because obviously it's very wrong, but why would you react? If you wouldn't have reacted the way that you did, I don't think people would have noticed.
Well, and that's the thing. It's, hey, honey, how was the concert? I happened to catch the Jumbotron while I was like, nobody's watching that, but now it's.
She's in front of you. Your arms are around her. That's when you start.
Just smile.
You start doing the Heimlich. Yeah, start doing the Heimlich. They had options, and they chose the worst one.
How many times has the kiss cam gotten somebody?
Oh, you've seen, there's been some good ones that have gone around on social media. That's the worst, though, that I've seen. My favorite, though, is because it's turned into a huge meme, right, of the couple of them. And the best is I saw someone took that picture and put the open for work logo that you see on LinkedIn, and they put that and edited it to them.
They probably had really good, really, really expensive seats. And when that thing, they were like, they're never going to come up here. They're going to go to the common folk, right? Mm-hmm. They're never going to show that.
Don't cheat on your spouse, I think, is the moral of this story.
No, don't.
Can you imagine the lawyers that were called after this in regards to the other spouses?
Huh. How many lawyers called the other spouses?
Yeah, payday, big time. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk to Wimp Sanderson, get his thoughts on the upcoming football season. Barrett, Sallee, 11 o'clock. Demetri, Ravanos at noon. At 12:30, we'll do Molly's Movie Minute. We are waiting. At any moment, we will get an email from the Southeastern Conference, and they will have the official SEC media poll for this upcoming football season. And Molly, we asked the listeners of Three Man Front today what they believe and where the Alabama Crimson Tide will ultimately be ranked.
Yeah, so 4 options. We gave you first, second, third, or fourth. And right now, winning with over half of our voters at 58%, they vote third.
Third. Okay. What comes in at number 2?
Number 2 is second with 22%. Next is fourth with 14%. And first with only 5%.
So only 5% of our audience believes that the SEC media poll will have Alabama at number 1.
They won't be at number 1.
No.
I had to break it to everybody. They won't be at number 1. I think number 3 is probably the safe bet. I wouldn't be surprised if number 2, but I think 3 is probably the.
Let me tell you something. I would not be surprised. Again, none of us voted them there, but just walking around and talking to other people in the media. Now, a lot of national people are very high on Alabama. As you mentioned, I think you said Josh Pate, right?
Billy Lucci had him number 1.
And Billy Lucci.
That's who I saw. Yeah, he had them number 1.
Now, I do know that J.D. Pickell, who was on our program from On 3, he's going all in on LSU. So
he must be talking to Barrett Sallee.
Yeah, he's taking a page out of Barrett Sallee's playbook, I guess. So, yeah, go vote. We've got probably about 35 minutes left in that vote, so I'd love to get your thoughts on what potentially is going to happen there. So I was perusing Tex Ags last night, Billy Lucci's website. I like to go to the message boards and just kind of, because it was Elko Day yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to see, okay, what's everybody saying? Because as you mentioned earlier, Conrad, up until about 2 weeks to go in the season, there was a scenario that it looked like Texas A&M was going to play for an SEC championship.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way that everything was going to break out. So one of the first things that I see on the message board, and I'll read it to you. I'll clean it up. I'll pull a Landrum here on the text line. I'll try to clean it up as much as I can. I just want Elko to ask Sankey, what the blank are we all no, why the blank are we always on the last day of media day and usually the last team to speak? 3/4 of the media have left town or they're on the golf course. Of the last 5 years, we have been the last day 3 times and on the third day once. Out of the last 5 years, LSU has been on the first day 5 of the last 5 years. Yes, that's every year. So blank you, Sankey.
Oh, that's sad.
That was on the Tex Ags message board.
That poor person.
So they're upset that Texas A&M for 3 out of the last 4 years has been on the last day of SEC Media Days. Meanwhile, LSU has gone first 5 of the last 5 years.
I can understand some of the sentiment from the A&M fans. I don't know what you do in the future to incentivize members of the media to kind of keep that buzz for the last day. I don't know what the mindset is there. But the optics of it this year with the last 4 teams, it looked like throwaway day.
Yeah.
And I don't mean anything disrespectful toward Texas A&M because they were clearly, I think, the better of the 4 teams.
Sure.
That were represented yesterday. But I don't know. I told Pat yesterday in the break, I said, what if you had like a drawing, somebody sponsored it, and you have basically a lottery at the end. If you're still there, must be present to win. 25 grand, you're I don't know. I don't know what you do.
25 grand?
Yeah, you have a golf tournament. I don't know, something to keep people, keep media members there for that 4th day.
So for you, Pat, because I know you've been to more media days than any of us, do you agree with that sentiment? And how would you, I guess, just what it was like this year? Is it similar to ones in the past, or do you feel like it's gotten different? Do you agree with what the Texas A&M fan said, or do you like the way that it's currently set up?
Well, first off, I will say this. I thought the College Football Hall of Fame, I thought the location and everything was outstanding. I thought they did a tremendous job.
Yeah.
If they had it there every year, I would not have any issues with that whatsoever.
Agree.
I think you ought to rotate it amongst 3 cities. I think you need to have it in Birmingham, Atlanta, and Nashville. Think a rotation of those 3. And I found out this week that I was not aware of, but cities actually, they bid on this. So this is not like the SEC goes, okay, let's go here. Now they might want to go to a certain place, but this is all about money now. And it's all about the cities because this is a convention.
So it's like a much smaller scale of what you have to do for like the Olympics or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a convention and visitors tourism bureau type bid. This is what they do every single year. And so Atlanta bidded on this and they got it. And so that's where I think now we're unsure where we're going to go next year or the year after because this is a situation where the SEC can make money.
Yeah. And the SEC has the right, though, I would think, like some government contracts, it's not necessarily the lowest bid. They can choose whatever one they want to, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure, yes. I mean, what works out best for them and where they want to go. I mean, let's just say that Jackson, Tennessee comes in with an incredible offer. They're not having SEC Media Days in Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah, some billionaire up in the Pacific Northwest decides, I'm going to have some fun with this.
No.
We're going to put out a lot of money. They have the right of refusal.
But to go back to what you guys were mainly talking about is I would absolutely change it from 4 days to 3 days. I would have 5 teams on Monday. I would have 5 teams on Tuesday, 6 teams on the final day.
Yeah.
And the way that I would do it is like this year, I would have had A&M, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Mizzou, and Georgia day 1 because you've got some of the upper tier programs. You got some of the middle of the road, and you got some on the back end. Day 2, you got Bama, South Carolina, Florida, LSU, Arkansas. And then on day 3, to try to make sure everybody is still in the building, you've got Auburn, Texas, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Vandy, and Mississippi State because you've got 3 really high-profile teams. You're going to have a lot of media stick around for those 3 teams. I'm talking about Texas, Auburn, and Ole Miss. And then the Mississippi media will still be around because they're going to cover Mississippi State as well. So they get, double the action on the final day. And then you got Kentucky and Vandy.
Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe the only thing I would add to that would be whatever state you're housing it in. So if it's in Nashville, have Tennessee on that last day.
Right. Another good idea.
Or if it's in Hoover, you're going to have Alabama or Auburn on that last day. But no, I think that's good. 3 days. Because we're not digging ditches, but it's a lot. It's a lot. At the end of the day, you realize how many conversations you've had. It's a pretty frenetic pace. And I was mentally just drained when we got home. No, the only thing that woke me up was stopping at that Buc-ee's on the way back.
You got excited. You got invigorated.
It was sensory overload.
It was. It was like going in a casino. Coming up next, we'll talk to Coach Wimp Sanderson. This is 3-Man Front on this Football Friday on Jox.
It's a 36 3-man front. We do it every single Friday. The coach, Wimp Sanderson. He's always presented by our friends at Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it. dig it. Crane works, rental works, yeah. The big dog's got it.
Wimp Sanderson on Three Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Wimp Sanderson.
Coach joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Happy Friday, Coach.
Well, thank you. The standings have not come out, but I'll give them to you anyway.
Okay.
Georgia, Texas, and Alabama will be the first three. Not necessarily in any order. Mississippi State will be last.
Okay.
And whoever is in the middle of wherever they are, somebody will be mad. Everybody gets mad. I used to have a sign on my desk when I brought a kid in. I can only please one person a day, and today ain't your day.
I love it.
That's
and then
good.
in parentheses down there, I had down there, tomorrow ain't looking real good either. So that's why I had that. I gave it to them. Let look at it.
Hey, Coach, did you enjoy basketball media days when you went through the kind of the car wash, so to speak? Was that fun for you?
Oh, it was great. We had dumb coaches. We had Sonny, and we had Dale Brown.
Oh my goodness, Dale.
And we had Hugh Durham, and I guess they said we'd have me, and we have somebody else. I forget who it was, but 3 or 4 goobers like that tell you nothing. They didn't know what they was talking about half the time. I got on there. I didn't try to. I tried to be very, very careful about getting, telling about how a great team we were going to have. I didn't lie to them, but I was careful about saying if. I used to if a lot to be sure that, if this happens, and if that happens, and that thing. And I enjoyed. We had a good time at media day. Media day was the group of coaches that I dealt with around the league. We only had 10-team league. And we had some. Norm Sloan was on there. Norm Sloan's wife sang the national anthem before the game. And you didn't know that, did you? I'll tell you a lot of things you don't know.
Well, you mentioned Dale Brown. Dale was always great because towards the back end of his career, he got off on that Yeti. You remember how he went to Nepal and he was looking for the abominable snowman. And no, he was serious about this. I mean, Landrum's over here laughing at me, Coach. You remember that? I mean, Dale got really serious about that.
No, we used to have him on the show. He was an interesting fellow.
He used to send me an email all the time about something. He had some kind of calls all the time. He discovered. I don't know how I'm getting off on this. He discovered Shaq overseas.
Oh yeah.
He was overseas giving a clinic when he discovered Shaq.
Yeah, because Shaq came from a military background, did he not? His parents.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Found him on the base.
And he got him. And he called. So he called himself a great recruiter because he got Shaq. So, but he was a good guy, and I still hear from him from time to time. He Durham, and of course I hear from Sonny all the time. Next couple of weeks, I moved to Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
When you move to Tuscaloosa, you come through a lot of stuff that you find that you didn't know you had. I had a cute little letter from Coach Bryant's wife that I'm going to read one day in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We ain't going to be talking about nothing. We don't know what's going to happen. We're waiting on that first Saturday in August. And then I found a couple of great letters from Sonny Smith and I used to write articles for the paper. And finally they talked Gene Bartow in, but we'd write an article about the paper and about whatever we want to talk about, and kind of we'd cut each other up. And the guys at Toomer's Corner, I don't know who they were, but ran it or stayed over there. They wrote me 2 busting letters. I mean, they busted my fanny, and we were supposed to go down there and play. And they wrote, it's the funniest letters you have ever read. They were great letters. And so next week or 2, I'll give you those letters. I don't want to bore you with them, but if you didn't keep up with it back then, it's not as funny. But I looked at stuff last night. Miss Bryant wrote me a note, and I appreciate it. I still got a bunch of stuff that I inherited long ago. And when you move, you find a lot of junk. Next time I move, where it'll be in a coffin. I ain't moving no more.
No more, huh? No more.
Back to what you want to talk about to start with. I think probably Texas or Georgia be voted number one. If I just had to guess, I'd say Alabama being a top 4, probably 3.
So
maybe.
where would you have voted, Coach? Where would you have had Alabama?
I would have probably put Alabama 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5. I would probably put Texas 1, Georgia 2. And I don't know if that's right because Texas got a new quarterback, and so does Georgia, but we're playing 2 guys, and Alabama does too. So you're starting 3 teams, 1, 2, and 3. Mississippi State struggling. Ever since Mike passed away, they've struggled. There's a lot of middle-of-the-road teams. South Carolina has a good quarterback. The surrounding area around surrounding players around South Carolina, I'm not 100% sure, but they're going to be pretty good. A team that's going to be a little better than you think maybe will be Oklahoma. They seem to they do a good job defensively. He's a good coach. They've got decent. I think the thing, and I'll say this, and I'm not saying it because I coached at Alabama, so don't everybody start all that crap. But I think Auburn's schedule is not good. Not because he plays golf, that's fine. Steve Spurrier plays. Everybody plays, whatever. But when you open up with Baylor, and the athletic director didn't fix that game, and then you play at Arkansas and at Texas A&M. I'm not looking at the schedule. I'm guessing, but I think that's right. In your first 2 or 3, 4 games, you have an open date, I think, and then you play Georgia. I don't like their schedule. And you're going to say on this radio show they should win 8. Probably. I don't know what you're going to say, but I listen to you. Y'all do a good job. You're probably what you'll say. They may win 8, but they're not going to have it easy at all. I just don't like the way the schedule falls. I ain't never right about anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Florida, worst schedule in the league. My knowledge would like to be, before you guys run me off, basketball has 3 opponents,
Mm-hmm.
and they play those 3 opponents twice, and that makes the 18-game schedule with 15 teams, and yourself and 15 other teams. In football, I know they have a 2-year deal. They do it. The schedules bother me some. Last year, Texas' schedule was much easier, I thought, than the rest of them. This year, I think Florida has come about and said, "I'll tell you one thing: quarterback's going to be good. We're going to get off the hot seat." Sometimes you take the pan off the hot seat, and all of a sudden your food gets cold. You put the pan back on there, and that may be in his case because Florida's got a bad schedule. I don't like the schedule at all. I'm a schedule freak. I think recruiting is number 1 and scheduling is number 2. And I think Florida's is the worst. I want you, when I hang up and you talk to it, you may totally disagree. But that's me looking at it, trying to study as best I can. I don't like their schedule at all. So
No, that's sound foundation to way to look at it in regards to moving forward. What about Auburn? Do you think, based on what you have heard and seen from Hugh Freeze over the last few weeks, should that give Auburn fans more confidence of where this team is this year? Where would you have Auburn if you were voting in the SEC poll?
I think I'd have them in the middle of the pack.
Okay,
somewhere in the middle of the pack. I think Hugh Freeze did a good job at the press conference.
I agree.
I think he did fine. It wasn't any problem. As I said, I just don't like particularly the way they're scheduled. Baylor's hard to beat out there. They got good players and play hard out there. Here's the problem. One of the games that you play against Texas A&M is going to keep you from scoring much. Well, that ain't good, but you got to score. Are they going to do everything they possibly can to be good defensively? And if they get a touchdown or 2, you got trouble. So I know it's supposed to be Arkansas at Arkansas. I got all that, but it's a home field advantage for Arkansas. I can tell you that. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M now, folks, is a team that is going to keep you from scoring a lot. Now you've got the open date. I think I'm correct. You correct me now if I'm wrong because I don't have it in front of me. You have an open date, and then you have Georgia, and I think you have Georgia at Auburn.
Georgia is at
right,
Auburn, yes.
correct.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so that's a booger game because Georgia's good. They got unknown quarterback, but the coaches seem to like him a great deal. And if I just looked at it, and I was just the guy that, and I don't know much either. I'm a basketball guy. I studied it a lot. If you look at the three quarterbacks at Alabama versus the three quarterbacks at Auburn, and tried to pick one or be darn sure that I already picked one Alabama. Be darn sure that you have the right substitute in there. You'd probably pick Alabama's three.
Right.
Now the Oklahoma quarterback has had a tough time. He is a good player who has not played well. He's got you don't know about those kinds of kids. Sometimes and I'm jumping around, but it's a lot of things jump in my head. For fans who listen to this show, just because a guy says he's a everybody says he's a 5-star, the answer to all of that is he has to play like a 5-star. He can be a cotton-picking 4-star, 5-star, whatever he is. But when he gets to Auburn or Alabama, he's got to play like one. And the media has decided that he's that good. And sometimes he's not that good. Sometimes, in fact, I saw something this week where there was three stars that in our high school went real high, went first in the draft some time ago. So I think because you get all excited about the star, and I think Alabama's a little bit in that position, in that they got this guy and that guy. No, they don't play this year, but they got this guy, that guy. They can't lose. That's not true.
Yeah.
The guys have got to play the way they're rated.
No doubt. Well, Coach, each and every week we are blessed because Craneworks, a great sponsor, great Birmingham, great Alabama company, they bring you to us each and every week.
Well, Craneworks is the very best. They do everything they possibly can to help you. They tear it up and build it up, and they'll do a great job. They'll bring an operator with them. They got rental works as well. They waste works as well. When you go with David Nam and Craneworks, you go with an organization that's very, 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 has great ability. They'll work really hard to please you, to do the things that you want done. I can't think of a better company than Craneworks. So get online, look at craneworks.com. I don't know if I made anybody mad today or not. But
no.
But, anyway,
it's great stuff.
I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it very much. Coach Wimp Sanderson joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. We will have an update on Malcolm Simmons at Auburn University. Also, the media poll will now be released officially at 12 noon. We'll give you all those updates next on 3-Man Front. It is 10:52 on this Football Friday. SEC Football Media Days wrapped up yesterday in Atlanta, Georgia. We're anticipating in an hour and 7 minutes the release of the SEC media poll. The SEC Chuck Dunlap tweeted out just a few moments ago that for all those wondering, it would be out and released at 12 noon. Also this morning, just about 50 minutes ago, WSFA Television in Montgomery, they updated their story on Malcolm Simmons, who was arrested and charged with domestic violence after an altercation with his girlfriend, court records say. I'm going to read the story directly from WSFA's website. Auburn football wide receiver Malcolm Simmons was arrested on Wednesday, according to the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Simmons is charged with domestic violence, strangulation, suffocation. Court documents filed Friday accused Simmons of strangling his girlfriend during a physical altercation. The records also identify the victim as the mother of Simmons' child. Simmons was booked in the Lee County Jail on a $20,000 bond. So according to WSFA Television in Montgomery, court documents filed Friday accused Simmons of strangling his girlfriend during a physical altercation. The records also identify the victim as the mother of Simmons' child.
It's just awful to hear, and I know that you have to let the legal process work out. But if you're Auburn right now, I would say dismiss from the team until any of this plays out. I don't know how you handle that. If he's contending one thing, but if it's been filed in court, then they feel pretty good about the charges.
Simmons is the second Auburn player that has been arrested in the last 2 weeks. Linebacker DJ Barber was arrested on July 7th in Dadeville on drug trafficking charges. Auburn confirmed Barber's dismissal from the football program just 2 days later. So we'll see what happens with Malcolm Simmons. So that is the update courtesy of WSFA Television in Montgomery.
Yeah, I don't know how much DJ Barber was going to contribute, but Malcolm Simmons certainly was going to contribute. So we'll see if Auburn makes a statement. Maybe Hugh Freeze puts out a statement as well. Very unfortunate for all parties involved.
The second half of the Major League Baseball season gets underway tonight. The Yankees, Conrad versus Landrum, as the Bravos will be hosting the Bronx Bombers at Truist. We'll talk to Barrett, Sallee from the Braves Radio Network. That's next on Three Man Front.
11 o'clock, three-man front, 1 hour away from the media vote for 2025 SEC Media Days. The predicted order of finish, always a fun time when that is revealed. So that coming up at noon Central Standard Time. Barrett Sallee will be talking Braves in just a moment. I'm always talking about Dobbs Ford. You can get over to Dobbs Ford maybe today. How about this weekend, just in time for the college football season? And check out all of the great inventory. It's Alabama's largest showroom selection, and you're going to get Ford employee pricing right now on select makes and models. Also, 90 days until your first payment. Dobbs Ford. It is a family affair when it comes to Dobbs Ford. The Goshen family managing partners, the rest of the Dobbs team, they're going to beat any competitor's price. You simply go to DobbsFordBirmingham.com. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Check them out there on Parkway East. And as always, tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
Before we go to Barrett Sallee, a little bit of interesting news here. The Peyton Manning's son, Marshall, who is an 8th grade student this upcoming year, he has enrolled in a private school in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Baylor School. He will attend that school coming up this fall.
Does he already have 5 stars?
I do not see any stars next to his name yet.
They're coming.
Hmm.
So we'll get
just interesting.
Kiffin ought to offer.
I'm not taking
now.
a shot at Chattanooga, Tennessee. I like Chattanooga. I think Chattanooga's a great town.
Yeah, it is a great town.
Is that a football power that we're unaware of?
The only type of private school that I am aware of, because I have a personal, back-to-back years we played on, was Montgomery Bell in Nashville. That's where Kirk Herbstreit's kids went. That's when Ty Chandler went, outstanding running back for Tennessee. So I don't know anything about Baylor School in Chattanooga.
I'm saying they went undefeated last year in the regular season.
I found last year's rankings. They were number 2. Macaulay was number 1, which is another private school.
Another great school.
In Chattanooga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's part of the Tennessee Private School League. I'm not really sure what classification you would call that. But as we've seen with Arch Manning,
doesn't matter.
He played in a very low classification in the state of Louisiana, and now he's going to win the Heisman Trophy. So,
yeah.
If he can pry it out of Jeremiah Smith's cold, dead hands.
Yeah, I guess.
Barrett Sallee, who hosts the Braves pre- and post-game show on the Braves Radio Network. You can hear on Jox all season long. Barrett, how are you? We missed you at SEC Media Days.
Same. Is back. I know because about him son. It was just most kind of some access to the experience.
At Landrum Barrett.
That was going to be a burden on you, and that was not like a realistic thing. Golly, we would have loved to have gone if that could have happened. I didn't want to tug on you too much.
Well, you know what? We had tickets. My
dang it! Don't say that.
Son's in the car right now. I could have easily left him at home and taken you, Landrum, but no. I had to make it a family affair.
Okay.
But my 13 fun. I'm just kidding. I would never have left him out of this whole thing. But yeah, it was fun, man. It was honestly going through that whole experience, because it's not just the home run derby and the All-Star game. It's a full week. It was fun, and it was on Wednesday. I woke up and it was what day is it? What just happened? And but it was a lot of fun, man. It was that home run derby. Whew, that is an experience.
Well, I tell you what, it was fun. Yeah, we were in an SEC event, watched most of the All-Star game, and then it got to about the 7th inning, and we shut down. What was the place called? Stats.
Stats.
Yeah, we closed down Stats.
Yeah.
And so then we had to go back to the hotel sports bar to finish the 8th and 9th inning, and then of course the swing off. So it was
Where
great.
was the hotel? Was it the Omni?
The Omni.
It was Omni, yeah.
Yeah, they got a good place over there. So yeah, that's fun. That's fun. That was I don't think anybody, and in the stands, I don't think many of the players, I don't think anybody really knew what, I guess you can't call that extra innings, overtime, whatever it is. I don't think anybody really knew what was happening up until like the moment that it did. I was a surprise. You know what? They designated those people beforehand. I was surprised, though, they didn't find a way to get Matt Olson in there for the National League instead of Kyle Stowers, because that didn't make a lot of sense. And I would definitely have had Pete Alonso in the first round. I wouldn't be saving him for the second round.
And it's my understanding that Shohei Ohtani, he was already on a plane and he was already departed the Atlanta metropolitan area well before they even got close to the ninth inning.
Oh, yeah. All those starters were long gone. Long gone. That's kind of how it's been. That's why, remember back in the day when they tied in Milwaukee, it's because they didn't have any players left.
Yeah.
They literally didn't have any players left. So that's kind of been the way things have gone. I mean, I guess they could have called Ronald Acuna up and be like, hey, man, can you get back to the stadium real quick? Because we kind of have a problem here. But that's not, I mean, that's kind of par for the course. But how awesome would that be if it was like Ohtani versus Ronald in the second round? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and the ace in the hole, and I told Conrad at least, I don't know if Pat heard me, but before it started, I said Kyle Schwarber will hit all 3 home runs. There is no doubt. I have watched him do that enough in playing the Braves. This is absolutely his event.
Oh, yeah. When it got to that, when it was like, when Kyle Schwarber came up and he was the guy that needed to get the job done, it's over. There's no doubt he's going to do this. And look, I know as a Braves fan and covering the Braves, I'm supposed to hate Kyle Schwarber. Man, I would love for him to be the designated hitter next year. Oh, my goodness.
That would be great. Speaking of that, has anything changed? Have you been hearing anything? I know Dane Dunning, long reliever from the Rangers, the Braves picked him up because you only have 3 starters as it stands right now. Fingers crossed. Any other news as we approach the trade deadline?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really telling move because Joey Wentz, who's going to start on Saturday, was pretty darn solid. What was that, the Sunday game? Saturday? It was a Sunday game, I think, after rain delay number 1 or whenever it was. It might have been Saturday, whatever. But he's a long reliever. And I think at this point, there's not really a market for, actual starters out there. So what the Braves are trying to do, and I think they've actually done a pretty good job of it, is at least find guys who can give you length. And if you have to get rid of them, in the end of July or mid-August or whatever and play the up, down from Gwinnett game, then you do it. But they need length. And, Dunning's a guy that can provide it. Wentz is a guy who can provide it. They know now that Bummer can do a little bit of that too. They're kind of in a situation where there are no real starters out there on the market, and they need real starters, like really, really badly. So they're trying to just kind of piece this thing together with some guys who, can give you, if they're on, 4, maybe 5. And if they can do that, then the starting rotation, it doesn't fix itself, but it isn't a complete disaster either.
So let me ask you this, Barrett, because John Heyman, who is a respected MLB insider, you see him on MLB Network. He also writes for the New York Post. He was reporting that now Marcell Ozuna is okay and he would waive his no trade clause and, to potentially go to a contender. What are you hearing on that front with Ozuna? Would you be surprised if he would finish out the year as a Brave?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he leaves. Like a lot of that stuff, and I don't want to dismiss Heyman or Nightingale, who had something similar. I have my own thoughts on him, but reporting that Ozuna's willing to waive his no-trade clause and be traded, and that the Braves are shopping him, that the Braves are open to discussions with Raisel Iglesias or things like that, those aren't really news items. They are kind of just obvious notes, right? I think if you hear anything of substance, then it's not coming from the Braves. Nothing gets out of that place. Nothing. So, if you hear like things like that, well, they're listening to offers on Raisel and listening to offers on Ozuna. Well, yeah, I mean, if someone came in and wanted to ask about, trading the entire starting lineup for Ronald Acuna, dang right they listen, right? They're going to listen to everything. Even Sean Murphy, who I don't think they're going to trade, and I don't really think they should trade at this point. But really right now, anything you hear, I would take it with an extreme, like the tiniest grain of salt, because like nothing of substance ever gets out of that place. It's like they lock that place down like college football coaches lock down a practice. Like it's locked down. So some of these things that sort of seem like they're big news, like breaking report, Braves are listening for trade options for Russell Iglesias or Marcell Ozuna. Well, yeah, of course they are. Of course they should. And I think that certainly they could if trade those guys. I think the biggest thing now is, look, they are in a spot where in 2 weeks they'll know exactly what they are. If they're 6 games back 2 weeks from now, they're not going to trade anybody. That's close enough. If they're 10 games back or worse, then yeah, you're going to see those guys gone, and just kind of chalk this up to a lost season. But they don't have to be that much better to be, not necessarily, buyers, but just stand pat.
And you just said it, a lost season. I hope, like you do, that they have a miraculous turnaround and at least play better baseball. But if this continues, they miss out on the playoffs, that payroll, there's a lot of different things you can point to. Suspension, injuries, guys not playing up to snuff. But I would think that somebody's head's going to roll, if not multiple. What does that look like if you know this organization and probably where the blame is directed?
Honestly, I would blame the players, right? We can sit here and complain about Alex or the coaching staff or whatever. It's not their fault that Michael Harris doesn't walk and can't hit the ball. It's not their fault that Ozzie Albies has been struggling all year. It's not their fault that Marcell Ozuna's hip started bothering him and he can't swing the bat as well as he used to. Like that's Michael Harris's fault. That's Ozzie Albies' fault. So I think that's what changes in the offseason is the Braves thought that they could get into the playoffs and win the World Series with the roster and the core that they have. And I think everybody thought that. That's why they were picked, right? So if it is a lost season, I think you see a complete 180 from what they did last offseason. They are tweaking, they are trading, they are doing everything they possibly can to even if it's just insurance policies, right? To prevent something like this happening again. They're going to basically say in their minds, okay, we can't let ourselves not have a plan B, because it doesn't seem like they had a plan B right now. And I think ultimately that's the problem. They trusted themselves maybe a little too much.
Well, we also know, Barrett, in situations like this year, you can look across Major League Baseball for many, many years. Someone will pay the price for this season. So if it's not the front office, is it the manager? Is it purging the entire coaching staff? But somebody will have to pay for the fact that the Braves have the payroll that they have, and they're behind the Miami Marlins that have a payroll of about $68 million.
See, I don't think that will happen, Pat. I think you might see.
So you just basically, and I'm not being ornery here. I'm just saying. So you just basically say, okay, it was just chalk it up as a bad year, but you just said all the players need to be held accountable. Well, who put the players on that roster? It was the general manager, and the manager was the guy that filled out the lineup card.
Well, but is that there was nobody who thought that Michael Harris was going to underperform after what we saw last year. There was nobody who thought that Ozzie Albies would underperform like he did last year. That's not the general manager's fault. That's not the manager's fault. That's not anybody's fault.
Well, I know it's not anybody's fault, Barrett, but somebody has to be accountable, because you gave Michael Harris a ridiculous contract, and now he's got one of the worst numbers across the board in Major League Baseball. So, like who's
the worst in some categories.
Again, and I'm not trying to be ornery. It's just I've seen this with the Cardinals. They've gone down certain roads, and there are certain heads that ultimately, whether it's the hitting coach, whether it's you're going to get rid of everybody on your staff, but the manager survives, or Snitker is told to retire, whatever the case may be, there's going to be some form of change. It has to be, because you just can't roll it back and just hope that everybody stays healthy.
I think there will be a door that gets opened for people to leave. But again, like I disagree with you. I think that the Braves are content with running it back, but doing it in a different way, in the sense that providing some insurance policies for some of these guys that aren't performing. And okay, if Ozzie doesn't perform, you have somebody there. That isn't Luke Williams. You know, you have somebody that can play outfield and have some like a, you know, go back to back in the day. You had Heredia back there. You had Charlie Culberson, who could do everything. They don't have those guys. Like, they just don't. And I think ultimately that's the problem. I don't think and that's the solution too, is finding those guys in case something like this happens again, because I don't think it's going to happen again. But it might, and ultimately you have to have some insurance policies.
What do you think? Like, I love the experience. I would go over there this weekend. It will be great attendance, but if this continues, can you see attendance start dwindling as the summer months grow longer?
Not the summer months. Well, but until school starts. I think until school starts, you're going to still see everybody there, yeah. Right? But once school is in session, man, those weekday games, if this continues, I think you might see a drop off. You know, I think that they've done such a good job with, you know, the events around it. You're still going to see good crowds on weekends. You know, once school starts. But I mean, look, that's kind of the case everywhere. You know, when school goes back in session, you're not getting, you know, 35,000, 40,000 fans on a random Tuesday. That's just kind of how it is. So you'll see. I think you would see drop off there.
Well, here's to at least let's win 2 out of 3 over the Yankees. Right?
I would love that.
Yeah, Conrad would hate it. So
I would love that.
Let's go Braves.
Yeah,
all right. Well, Barrett, you and your son have a great rest of your Friday, and thanks for joining us. And we missed you, and hopefully, go Braves. We'll talk to you next week. Network, you can hear it here on Jox on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Is that old tree leaning too close to your house? Don't wait for that next storm to make that decision for you. Call Golston Tree Service today, 205-337-4443. Your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, and professional tree removal, trimming, and cleanup. Licensed and insured, ready to handle any job, big or small. Call Golston Tree Service today. Again, that number, 205-337-4443. Golston also offers that 24-hour emergency tree service. So when it comes to your trees, don't risk it. Call Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443.
We are counting down the minutes. The SEC reveals the media ballot predicted order of finish. Where will your team finish? We'll find out. 3 11:22. Demetri Ravanos going to be joining us from the college football bubble bath. Always entertaining, SEC Unfiltered, joining us at 11:30. Coming up at noon, the SEC reveals the media vote, the predicted order of finish for the 2025 SEC football season. Well, it's still summertime. There's still some time for you to enjoy the fun with your family and friends there in and around your home. The stinging insects, the biting kind, the ones that they serve a purpose somewhere in nature, but they don't belong on your skin. Our friends at Stark Exterminators, they're here to help. Stark has been family-owned for over 61 years. They take care of us at the Roberts household. They can certainly take care of you. And right now, by simply calling 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com, you can set up the free home or business pest inspection, maybe both, if you're a homeowner and a business owner. But they're going to take care of you, and they're going to blanket you with that protection. And they will also use the most environmentally effective methods available. That's good news for the environment. That's good news for your family, including your pets. Call them today, 855-STARK now. Go to starkexterminators.com. And as always, tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
WSFA Television in Montgomery gave us a little bit of an update on what's going on with wide receiver Malcolm Simmons from Auburn University. This morning in court documents filed today, accused Malcolm Simmons of strangling his girlfriend during a physical altercation. The records also identify the victim as the mother of Simmons's child. That's from WSFA Television in Montgomery. There has been no word from Auburn University except the statement they gave yesterday morning, which was, "We are aware of the situation, are gathering the facts, and will address the situation." So there's been no update from Auburn. But according to the WSFA, the court documents that were filed this morning, that it accuses Simmons of strangling his girlfriend during a physical altercation, and the records identify the female being Simmons's, the mother of his child. So we'll keep you posted if anything new happens or if Auburn releases an updated statement.
Yep. The text line is open. We can get to your text. A lot of reaction here on this Friday, 205-834-9450. That gets you in there. And Lyle texts the show and says, Landrum, please pick Auburn last so you don't put bad juju on them. Laughing, crying emoji 3 times. I did not pick them last. I picked them 7th. Everybody else, well, Pat and Conrad picked them 8th.
I think Molly picked them 8th.
Okay.
Auburn fans should be happy because we jinxed Alabama, right? 3 of us picked them to win the SEC.
This one coming in, I guess, from an Auburn fan. You know why all of a sudden our players are getting arrested, don't you? It's because we're finally getting some talent again.
Interesting way to look at it.
This one coming in from Montgomery. What we learned at Media Days. Got to run the ball. Got to get off the field on 3rd down. We are working hard, and we love our team. Yeah, you pretty much summed it all up.
And we have no idea about the house settlement or how any of that works. I feel like you heard that from every coach.
Yeah.
Especially Steve Sarkisian.
Jake says John and Charles Hanna attended the Baylor school.
Oh, okay.
Where
apparently it's a more famous school than I thought.
And got something that Whit Muschamp, son of Will Muschamp, attended the Baylor school. Back to our conversation with Barrett on the Braves. This listener says, Barrett's 100% right. This is all the players' fault. No one in the front office or the manager should have to pay. About the Cardinals, I sure didn't think they should have brought their manager back this year.
No, they were stupid enough to give him an extension last year after the team suffered the worst record in about 100+ years in St. Louis Cardinal baseball. But they signed him to an extension and brought him back. So I agree with that 100%.
Every single Brave that has these giant contracts were based on one career year. Most had the same year. Now make millions being average. Injuries to pitching staff doesn't help. But last I checked, pitchers don't hit anymore. No, they don't.
Well, my argument is that, what is the definition of being a fool? Is doing the same thing over again and expect different results.
That's the definition of insanity right there.
I mean, it's just that makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, well, let's just hope that nobody gets hurt. Well, it's the general manager's fault for not having somebody in the pipeline ready to back somebody up if they're not having a good year. I mean, it's, but hey, it's not my franchise. But good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Andrew says, Pat put Barrett in his place, talking about someone who's going to pay the price for the Braves. Barrett was searching for a comeback.
Well, listen, I love Barrett, and I did not mean to put him in a bad spot because he's employed by the Atlanta Braves radio network. I mean, he's not going to come on this show or any show and say that Brian Snitker needs to be fired or the general manager needs to be fired. That would be professional suicide. He's not going to do that. But we have a difference of opinion in regards, and this is new territory for Braves fans. This is the worst Atlanta Braves team since 2016. You're 11 games under 500. You're 12 and a half games back. You spent ridiculous amount of money on your payroll. And the Miami Marlins that spent $68 million is a better baseball team than your team.
Yeah.
And if you mean to tell me that nobody is going to feel the repercussions of that, you are fooling yourself.
Yep. I can see it from both sides because I've thought about it from both sides. Somebody's going to have to pay that price because of that. But I sure didn't
It
expect.
may be the new hitting instructor.
Yeah,
This is
hires-
the first year for him.
Yeah. I sure didn't expect with this lineup, even the guys that are healthy, and I've said it all year, some of them aren't hitting their weight, and never expected that for whatever reason. I just want the book to come out. Whenever. What went on? Was it an internal strife? Did you guys not approach the season the same way? Whatever it may be.
Well, if there's internal strife, then why would you bring them all back and expect them to sing Kumbaya and be a better baseball team?
That's a fair point. I don't know. Maybe there's not internal strife. Maybe they just don't care.
That's a different kind of internal strife.
But you know what? It
Yes.
starts tonight with a 3-game sweep of the Yankees.
That's right.
And Aaron Boone.
We don't even know who we're pitching. We've had a whole week to decide. We don't
And
even
you know
who's
what?
gonna
Aaron
pitch.
Boone is fired on the tarmac at Hartsfield
Yes.
I would actually, yes.
after a 3-game
I'll-
sweep.
If a sweep by the Braves means that Aaron Boone gets fired, you can have the next 3 games. I'll give them to you. Take them away.
If
Molly's the only one here that's happy with her manager.
If
right
Aaron
now.
Judge
am.
in
Yeah.
this series happened to
That's pretty
let's
much
just say,
right.
I hope it doesn't happen, but if he blew out a knee, where would the Yankees playoff chances go?
If
in your
Aaron Judge
opinion?
blew out a knee,
Yeah.
oh, bye-bye. See you next year.